All right. So today, what we're going to talk about is your two ecosystems. Which one are you going to spend your money on as a guitar player or band guy or recording studio guy or whatever? It's something very important that you may want to think about before you start spending all your money. And in this case, what we're talking about is option one is that you're going to be playing at home, you're going to be playing in a studio, you're going to be basically doing a lot of stuff online, YouTube musician, that type of thing. Or you're going to be option two, you're going to be playing live a lot. And you're going to be, you know, going out and doing gigs and playing all kinds of shows, okay? So, option one, I mean, I know that there's more options. Obviously, there'd be option three or both, But option one, being the recording at home, you're doing, or you got a small studio, that kind of setup, you probably don't need to spend all your money on guitar amps, guitar effects pedals, um, all kinds of gear that you would need to play live. A pedal board with, 40 pedals, whatever it is. Um, Now, I'm not saying you can't get into that, but if you're on a budget and you're recording at home primarily, and you're not tied down to I've got to have an amp and I've got to mic it and I want to do it this way, and that's fine. Everybody's different, but if you're going to be option one, you can save yourself a lot of money by not spending all of it on, say, a Mesa Boogie or a vintage Marshall or even, just a halfway decent tube amp. It's going to cost you $500-600 for a head or whatever. You can get a lot done, a lot done with just digital amps, generally called they're VSTs. Okay. And there's two that I just heard about, and I'm not getting paid by this company at all. I'm not even really trying to promote them because it's free. It's ML Studio, ML Sound Lab. And they have two amps out there that are completely free. There's a YouTuber named Fluff. He's got a channel. He does gear reviews. He's played in bands and stuff. He's got his own model. It's called the Roots, and it comes with pedals. Let me see if I can get this on. That's the program. That's the amp. It has a tuner. So see, it shows I'm a little off here, but then it's got a pedal board. Oops. Noise gate, compression, drive, chorus, delay, reverb. It's got a cab thing here where you can set your microphones. It's got a MIDI manager, so you can set up your MIDI. And I know, I'm sorry that this isn't like professional YouTube, and you can see this all in detail. But the thing is you can just go ahead and download this yourself. It's free, 100% free, and check it out. And they also have another YouTuber named Stevie T. He's got his own, and they have a full package where you get like 4 or 5 amps. They're really just amp settings, if you will, but or you can just grab the free ones. And these amps, I mean, they sound amazing. They, if let me see here if I can set this up real quick so you can hear. This is just something I set up real quick. And that's free guitar amps that you can download for free and use it. And there are a ton of different ones. I've used Amplitube, IK Multimedia Amplitube for um, I don't know, 10 years now. Love their amps. They sound great. Um, I've recorded live with, Real Amp, and I've recorded with it. And there's still a little piece of me that loves the live amp, but for simplicity, for the ability to record quietly at night, I've got family, it makes it a lot more convenient. It's quicker. I can set up these amps in, you know, 2 minutes and I'm ready to record. So it's easy. So okay, so you have the ecosystem. Option one is you can get yourself a laptop. You can get yourself an input device. Like I have, I used the Focusrite for years. And now I went to a Volt, one of the cheaper ones. I think I got it on sale for $169 or something like that. And you can use, like I showed you on that program, it has pedals already there. There are all kinds of different amps out there that are completely free. Just go on YouTube and type in free VST guitar amps, and you're gonna find a ton. I recommend when you download amps, don't download them from some Russian website. Download them from, make sure that it's a legitimate site. And but there's a ton of different free stuff out there. And there's free drums, there's free keyboards, there's free EQs, there's free compressors, there's all kinds of free stuff. So you can get started really, really cheap in option one. Now, option two, live rig. Uh, that's, it's great, it's fun. I used to play live all the time before I got into recording, before I got into more home recording type stuff. And so I'm kind of, I still have that feeling like I need a new pedal, I need a new amp, I need a new blah blah blah, and I don't, because I already have an amp, and I don't need any more. But obviously, gear buyer syndrome. I think there's some term for that, but keep going out there and looking. But you can save yourself a lot of money if hey, I'm not going to be playing live. I'm just going to go the digital route. But if you're going to be playing live, you're going to want to have a quality amp, and you're going to want to find something that is going to, if you're playing rock, you're playing metal, you're playing punk, you're playing anything like that, you're going to want to have an amp that can compete with a drummer. So if you're playing, I would recommend, if you're playing live with a drummer, that you, on a tube amp, you need at least something that's 20 watts or more. Prefer, if you're playing big venues, 50 is fantastic. I know that for years I read about Angus Young from AC/DC. He has all these cabinets up on stage, but they mic this little 50-watt Marshall underneath the stage, and that was the sound that you're hearing being broadcasted throughout the whole stadium. You don't need a massive rig, but if you are going to be playing massive crowds or whatever, that's a different story. That's not my bag. But a good combo amp, a good 50-watt combo amp, will do you just great. And nowadays, with obviously with Boss Katanas, with some of these other Fender amps, there's either digital, or they're modeling, or they're just solid state amps. I've got a solid state 50 or a solid state PV back there, and it's like I think it's like a 30 or 40 watt amp, but man, that thing is crazy loud. The thing is you don't want to have to turn your volume up so loud on your amp to compete with the drummer, and then every time you stop playing, you start feeding back. So you want an amp that has a lot of, trying to think of the term they use a lot of times, but you just basically don't want to have to push that amp so hard that every time you stop playing, it's feeding back. You can push your amp using gain pedals or push your amps using distortion pedals, and if you get into that avenue, you probably have to look for a noise suppressor, noise gate type of pedal so that you are not feeding back constantly. And especially if you're playing single coils, like what's in here, these pickups, boop, 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 single coils, they're going to be a lot noisier unless you spend more money to get noiseless, noise canceling pickups. So anyway, a live rig, you're going to need an amp, you're going to need cables, you're going to need obviously a guitar, you're going to need that anyway, and you're going to need to get, I don't say need, but you definitely want something to tune your guitar. Or tuning pedal is probably one of the best things. But you're going to eventually you're going to get yourself into wanting to get different pedals. You're going to get a delay pedal, you're going to get an EQ pedal, you're going to get distortion pedal, you're going to get a gain pedal, you're going to get a flanger pedal, a phaser pedal, all kinds of fuzz pedals or whatever. But to get those different tones when you're playing live, you're either going to go that route, or you might go a all-in-one effects pedal, like some kind of Boss effects pedal or Helix or something like that. But again, that's your live rig. That's you can push your money toward your live rig instead of spending all your money on recording rig if you're never you're not doing a lot of recording, you're just playing live. Now eventually most people who play live want to eventually record, and so having a good recording rig is great. But if you've got your own recording rig, you probably, when you go to somebody's studio, you're probably going to want to use your own rig. You're not going to want to plug into all his digital VST computer models and all that stuff to record your sound, because you spent all this time developing your sound. So again, if you haven't already started buying into one ecosystem or another, you're getting started, think about what you're going to do most. Are you going to play in the studio, in your home, in your bedroom, whatever, option one, or are you going to be a live person, play option two? Now obviously option three is that you are looking at performing live, but you're also wanting to go ahead and get into studio recording early on, and that's easy too. And you don't necessarily need to have all the fancy computer programs, the amp simulations and stuff like that. You can live mic your amp in your studio. It's just for people who don't have a lot of room, people who need to be quiet. You don't really have. It's not as easy. So I know that I recorded an album a couple years ago, Tracy Street and the Go-Getter 500 Band. It was called God and Monsters. And plug, go listen to it if you have it. It's fun. I recorded all of those guitars on VSTs, generally at night. I did the vocals at night, all in a closet that's behind me with the speaker shield, microphone shield. And so I was able to do that all at home, all, at one point there's a little treadmill over here that my wife was, treadmilling on, and I'm over here in the corner in the closet with the door open with my vocal shield, and I'm doing the vocals. And it worked. the other thing is like I've seen a lot of videos, and this video is getting really long, and I apologize, but I've seen a lot of guys spend a lot of money on sound dampening, and they think they need it to EQ better, to mix better, and to do all this stuff, and sure, I mean that might help, but if you're not going for the natural sound of your room, um, you know, when I'm using this vocal shield and I'm, you know, standing there in a closet, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to almost get the deadest sound that I can, um, but I'm going to use like a reverb effect on my computer, to get my reverb and my room sound and different things like that. So you don't need to spend a ton of money on room dampening, sounding, and all that stuff. And honestly, a lot of times when I'm mixing, dun, 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 I'm mixing in with headphones on. I mix with headphones on. I record with headphones on vocally a lot of times. Guitar wise, I use my monitors, because I'm recording through the VST, so I don't need to make sure that my sound, when you're live miking an amp, you can't have all these external noises. You can't have playback going while you're recording. You have to do it with the earphones on. So anyway, just some things to think about. Save your money, buy into one ecosystem or another if that's going to be where you're going to be playing most of the time. You can always borrow a rig, a live rig, or buy a Katana that's like, $250 or some other type of amp to pull off your live thing, if that's going to be, your other option every once in a while. But anyway, there's some stuff to think about. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope to save you some money, and that, you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful night and a wonderful day whenever you watch this video. All right, take care. Bye.